The Season 3 trailer for Rings of Power is now out. Is that a threat? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And the deconstruction of Galadriel continues unabated.
Architectural outcast.
The Rings of Power is back with its Season 3. You know, that Amazon series that's supposed to be a prequel to The Lord of the Rings? That deep philosophical series where every scene is supposed to be full of symbolism, allegory, and metaphor. In Season 1, we find Galadriel and Sauron alone on a raft in the middle of the ocean, where Sauron wants to give Galadriel his dagger. Get it? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, giggle, giggle. Galadriel is shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Oh, my girdles and garters. I am a lady. I do not do things like that. But oh, that dagger is really big. Sauron makes a counter offer. Come on, ladies like you love bad boys, and I am the most evil being in Middle-earth. You can't get any badder. Come on, you know you want it. Take my dagger. Galadriel is still outraged. I don't do things like that. I am a married woman. Now, I haven't told anybody in the series I'm married, but everybody knows I'm married. But I do like a big blade. Did I tell you I killed an ice troll in under 10 seconds with my own big blade? Sauron eventually convinces Galadriel to take his big dagger. Get it? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, giggle, giggle. And then she immediately holds it to his throat. Because in modern Hollywood, you can't show a man seducing a woman. That removes the woman's agency. It implies she's not giving consent. Naughty, naughty. So if you have to show heterosexual romance, ew, ick, you have to show the woman dominating the man. If you can mix in a little S&M symbolism as well, all the better. Oh, Hollywood, what are you doing? The things that Hollywood finds acceptable. Once Galadriel gets over her little death, rising waves, feeling of drowning, all that, she reveals that she knows that Halbrand, the mysterious stranger, was Sauron all along. And then she lets him go. And then, just to seal the stupidity, Galadriel, without telling anybody that Halbrand was Sauron all along, she convinces her friends the best way to defeat Sauron is to do exactly what he wants, forge the 3 rings. But at least she gets one of Sauron's rings. I guess that makes the relationship official, right? In Season 2, the degradation, flagellation, and humiliation of Galadriel continues. They strip away her position, her power, her influence, her nobility, her gravitas, and most importantly, her beauty. Because whatever you want to say about Morfydd Clark's portrayal of Galadriel, she's an attractive woman, and we can't be having that. So they cover Galadriel in mire and muck. Stuff her in a cage with chains, because you got to get those S&M references in, and then surround her by bestial men. Get it? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, giggle, giggle. And then, while still covered in muck and mire and in chains, she goes all kissy face with her son-in-law. The end of Season 2, we have another confrontation between Galadriel and Sauron, where Sauron in his glory is trying to seduce a Galadriel who's covered in muck and mire. Their sword fight is supposed to be a metaphor. Get it? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, giggle, giggle. Sauron goes so far as to literally penetrate Galadriel with his blade. The only way she's able to survive is to throw herself off a cliff, faking her death. The little death.
Oh, come off it, Randy. Are you honestly expecting us to believe that a sword fight is supposed to symbolize seduction, foreplay, and intercourse?
Yes. And I have to... I have 2 names for you. Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. A sword fight between a man and woman is one of Hollywood's oldest symbolic tropes to represent heterosexual romance. Just this time around, the people doing it believe that heterosexual romance is built upon literal violence. And if you can slip in a little S&M in the process, all the better. The Season 3 trailer has dropped, and it looks like the destruction of Galadriel will continue because we have the return of Celeborn. And is Celeborn going to be shown to be one of the most powerful beings in all of Middle-earth? Wise and noble, capable of resisting the forces of evil for millennia. Nah, screw that. He's going to be a lover boy, caught in a love triangle, competing with Sauron for Galadriel's love, because that's what really matters. And I'm willing to bet you that Celebrian, Elrond's wife, well, wait a minute. Why isn't it a love square? Why isn't Galadriel being fought over by Sauron, Celeborn, and Elrond? Remember, Galadriel went all kissy-face with her son-in-law. Or was he just a side piece? The only dagger available at the moment. Anyhow, and I'm willing to bet you they're going to imply that Galadriel and Celeborn's daughter, Celebrian, who marries Elrond, you know, the guy that went all kissy-face with his mother-in-law, and who becomes the mother of Arwen, the wife of Aragorn, who becomes the mother of the kings of men, in reality is the love child of Sauron, thus completely destroying Galadriel. I've made a lot of claims here, so let me back up a bit. The Rings of Power is deconstruction. Deconstruction is famous for using symbols to destroy the symbols that they don't like. And oh, do they hate Galadriel.
Wait a minute, Randy. Why would the deconstructionists hate Galadriel? She's one of the most famous women in all of literature and one of the most powerful, both politically, ruler of a kingdom, and in ability. She is one of the 4 most powerful beings in all of Middle-earth. And she is so powerful that even if Sauron could defeat her once he gets the One Ring, he couldn't keep her from getting the heck out of Dodge, fleeing to the west.
All that's true, but you all see, there's power, and then there's power. And modern academic corporate feminism, intersectional feminism, was founded on the hatred of women. In Western civilization, men protect culture and women preserve culture. And part of preserving culture, women civilize men, convince men to willingly become protectors of culture, protectors of them. And to that end, women are given a great deal of social power, moral authority. It's often pointed out that academic and corporate feminism is built upon the hatred of men. Well, kind of, sort of. Their real beef with men is based upon the resentment that they aren't men. A lot of self-loathing going on here, but that's another topic for another day. The academic and corporate feminists' real bile and hatred is reserved for other women. And it's simple. It's because their status, their power, their position, the ability to have others listen to what they say, their very safety is dependent upon other women. And how do women gain moral authority? Through credentials? Through the power of institutions and the state, bending men to their will, forcing men to obey? Good luck with that. Nope. Feminine power and feminine moral authority comes out of the art of persuasion, the ability to convince men to willingly do what they want. Anybody who has ever experienced the mom look, the whole, hey, I'm disappointed in you, I expected more from you, knows that that look wounds deeper than any physical attack. And which women held the most moral authority? The women that were considered wise, noble, righteous, virtuous. And how would we recognize these wise, noble, righteous, virtuous women? Through their beauty. In fact, feminine beauty is such an important part of preserving culture, humans are genetically wired to automatically assume there's a correlation between beauty, wisdom, nobility, and virtue. Simply put, the more beautiful a woman, the more moral authority she is automatically handed. And that's a crime academic and corporate feminists can never forgive. Galadriel, as described by Tolkien and portrayed by Cate Blanchett in Jackson's adaptation, is one of the greatest examples of feminine power in all of literature. Galadriel's moral authority comes from her righteous character. Her deeds were noble, wise, and virtuous, which gives her the right to speak, gives her the right to expect others to listen to what she has to say, gives her the right to persuade. As a result, Galadriel's beauty is in direct proportion to her righteous character. She is so noble, wise, and virtuous, her beauty has become beguiling. As I said, Galadriel is one of the greatest examples of feminine power in all of literature. And academic and corporate feminists hate feminine power, so they want to deconstruct, destroy Galadriel. In the Rings of Power, they used two tactics. They changed the source of Galadriel's power, and they tried to destroy Galadriel's moral authority. Right out the gate, first thing they do in season 1 is take away Galadriel's femininity. That's a man. They go and make her Galadriel, warrior queen, tough, no nonsense, stoic, kicking butt and taking names, stab, twist, gut, killing ice trolls in under 10 seconds, driving her enemies before her, listening to the lamentation. No, can't have that. And that's why Galadriel quickly turned into a farce, a parody of a feminist Galadriel, because the writers ran into a brick wall, one far worse than reality. Competing ideologies. They wanted to show Galadriel wielding masculine power. And the irony is, they would have had a better chance of achieving that goal if they would have just followed the source material. Because Tolkien describes Galadriel as being over 6.5 feet tall. While being on the short side for elves, as far as human goes, she's in the top 1%. It becomes believable that a 6.5 to 7 foot tall woman could kick butt and take names. But you all see, academic and corporate feminism can't be having any of that, because it turns out there's an entire industry, books, video games, D&D, built around the trope of a large woman in chainmail, preferably a bikini, wielding a sword, kicking butt and taking names. And it turns out a lot of men like that idea. Male gaze, naughty. We can't be having that. So in the name of fighting the patriarchy, they cast 5'0", 90-pound Morfydd Clark as Galadriel, which nobody believes Morfydd Clark is capable of kicking butt and taking names. I mean, she claims she went to therapy because of the emotional damage she received while filming the fight scenes for the show, which is believable because it looks like she's receiving emotional damage filming the fight scenes for the show. This brings us to the second prong of the deconstruction of Galadriel, the attempt to destroy her moral authority. Academic and corporate feminists believe that the evil, oppressive patriarchy only recognizes two types of women, the Madonna or the whore. According to these feminists, Galadriel is Exhibit A when it comes to a Madonna, a idealized, romanticized, sacred female whose legitimacy only comes through her virginity, her purity, being uncontaminated by male hands. And in an effort to destroy that legitimacy, they've turned Galadriel into a whore, bumping uglies with everything that moves up to and including Sauron, the most evil being in Middle-earth. And if that isn't vile enough, they then have her sticking her tongue down the throat of her son-in-law. Pay attention to the symbolism of color. In Tolkien's writings, Galadriel is described as wearing all white. In Jackson's adaptations, not only does Cate Blanchett wear all white, it glows. Again, the symbolism is pretty straightforward. Galadriel is pure, sacred, ethereal. To the point, in Jackson's Hobbit, when Galadriel goes into battle with the necromancer, she remains unsoiled. The first thing they do in season 1 is strip Galadriel of her white, of her nobility, of her purity, and put her in gray, drab, dreary, mundane gray, trying to make her ambiguous, complicated, corrupted, fallen. And if you all think the fallen angel symbolism is a coincidence, I got a bridge to sell you. Then in season 2, they humiliate and flagellate Galadriel. They start by putting a scar on her face, literally destroying her beauty, destroying the physical manifestation of her moral authority. They then debase Galadriel by covering her in muck and mire, literally making her a dirty woman. Get it? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, giggle, giggle. Then she's put in chains and then put into a cage, because you got to get that S&M symbolism in, and then surround her by bestial men. But these men aren't evil. They're just misunderstood. They just want to have a homeland for themselves where they can murder and pillage in peace. You got to get your symbolism squared away. You can't say everything all at once. You just end up confusing everyone. We've seen this symbolism done before, and way better. Star Wars 1977, opening scene. Princess Leia is captured, brought before Vader. You have the stormtroopers and Leia in pure white. Leia is all soft and curves, which does make her look vulnerable, but it also makes her look noble, honorable, and pure. Whereas the stormtroopers' armor is all hard lines and angles. They feel cold, menacing, aggressive. Leia feels like she's in real danger here. I mean, they could hurt her just by bumping into her. Leia's nobility and purity of character, as symbolized by her white robe, turns her act of defiance, her back-talking Vader, into a shield. A line in the sand that even Vader, as evil as he is, doesn't dare cross. However, if you have Galadriel wearing dingy gray while covered in scars, muck, and mire, while she's surrounded by bestial men leering and threatening her, as she tells Sauron what train to take out of town, because you can't have a woman submitting to a man ever, it ends up coming off that she's kind of down with the situation. You got to get your S&M symbolism in there. The Rings of Power writers were so desperate to humiliate and debase Galadriel that if they thought they could have gotten away with it, they would have covered her in bodily fluids. The Season 3 trailer, and we have the same symbolism. Right off the bat, we have Galadriel covered in muck and mire, all dirty, looking like she's being victimized by a man. And when she meets Celeborn, her husband, she looks guilty. Now, with all she's been up to, she should look guilty. They got Celeborn looking like some teenager caught up in a high school romance melodrama while they're trying to make Sauron look like this domineering masculine presence. So we're going to get a twofer, humiliating Galadriel and diminishing Celeborn. They're going to try to make it look like Galadriel made the wrong decision choosing Celeborn. And in the process, I'm going to predict they're going to try to imply that Celebrian is in reality Sauron's love child. Oh, this is going to be a mess. A glorious, stupid mess. And I'm going to be here for every second of it. At any rate, I hope I gave you all something to think about, and until next time, y'all be safe.
Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment.